Hello everybody, I hope you're having a nice Corona time in your basement, hopefully not going outside and getting all those poor elderly and children sick. I was just kind of bored today, so I thought, I have some topics, might as well just make a video. Like, why do platypuses even lay eggs? Stay tuned for the next episode of why platypi lay eggs. But anyways, I was looking at some videos and I was thinking of some stuff a couple days ago. I'm like, this could be an interesting-ish video. So the topic of today is human music almost dying? And what I mean by human is kind of music that has imperfections. Basically all the instruments are played by humans, and there's some degree of editing that has a much more human side, even though basically all the editing does get done on the computer. And kind of to put this in perspective, basically every single song you're going to hear today is most likely all made on a computer. Basically the only thing that won't be made by a computer is the actual singing by the person. Like auto-tune and stuff kind of has a play in that as well. You can make an entire album, and most people do, on a laptop. People I saw a couple days ago were like, "Oh, Billie Eilish, the whole album was done on a laptop. That is so crazy." Basically, every song is done on a laptop nowadays. And most of the songs were just pre-recorded sounds made in the 80s. The 808 sound, the drum sound, has been used for so many years, and it's just been recycled through all these kind of programs like Pro Tools. Look that up if you don't know that. Pro Tools was a big start of what caused this decline of human songs. If you want some really good examples, just listen to some songs from the 70s, the 60s, and kind of the 80s, but that's when it kind of started. You'll hear it has a lot more grittiness, and it'll have that like a 70s sound, like all that Vietnam music had a very distinct, you're like, yeah, that's from the 70s, I can totally picture that. And if you really have a tuned, musically intact ear, you'll hear a lot of imperfections, a lot of speeding up, slowing down, wrong keys, blah, 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 out of tune guitars and stuff. That's because you had to play all the instruments by hand back in the day. You can't just have a pre-recorded sound and you just put it in a program, blah, blah, blah. There's your song, you had to do it by hand. And it was really hard in when really rock music started in the 60s. When you wanted to make an album, there's no computers at all. You had to use a tape recorder. And if you really want to look at some interesting things, look at the history of the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper album. They did a lot of weird tape recorder engineering with a 4-track. It's just what the heck? How did they even figure out how to do that? It sounds really good, but they put in a lot of effort just splicing all the tracks together, making it sound good. And if you look up the history of Strawberry Fields Forever, that song's really weird because they took a million takes of it, and they just, in the final version, they spliced 2 different tracks, and it just sounds kind of cohesive and it sounds normal. But if you really listen to it, the first part of the song has a very different sound to it than the second half, because the second half was slowed down and the pitch was dropped to match the first half. So you'll hear John's voice is kind of up high, and then as soon as it goes really kind of low. If go back and listen to that song, you'll be like, oh, that's interesting. So basically they had to do all these things and had all these imperfections, but nowadays, especially with the pop songs, are the worst at it. Every song sounds the same. There's no imperfections, because nowadays you have to go through all these executives. You still had to back in the day, but it was a lot more lenient. But now it's just Sony, Fox, whoever is owning all these record companies are just headed by these guys that just have this formula set. This is what a song should sound like. It's almost like a grid, and if your song doesn't match the grid, and it doesn't have the right, I don't even know how they determine it. then you're out. So basically all the pop songs and a lot of just other songs have to go through and get approved just sound the same, because these executives are saying this is what a song should sound like. And it's really making music writing suffering, because after a while every song will just sound exactly the same, because if a song doesn't fit in with their formula, they'll kick it out. So eventually it just gets worse and worse until every song sounds the same. Just listen to some pop songs, like they got all the same formula. You know, easy to listen to, nothing abrasive, very easy to sing along to. You know, the rhythm is just very bum 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 the whole song. There's no crazy drum fills, no crazy guitar solos. It's all basically done through programs that have pre-recorded sounds. And the weird thing is, all the old songs that didn't have all that pre-recorded robotic almost sounds, like from the 70s, 80s, all these bands, whoever's in charge of like copyright for them is just dumb. Because every time you use one of their songs, like a video or something, or talk about it, they always strike it, copyright, take it down. Like, I don't understand why they do that. If you want people to listen to your music, like, who's listening to, like, I don't know, some Black Sabbath songs, like maybe a couple, but like the younger generation is never going to listen to it, because every song from, just an example, Black Sabbath will be copyrighted unless it's from their specific sources. Like, I'll try to make a video, I'll slap in, I don't know, some AC/DC, boom, it gets copyrighted. I have to redo it, put another song in. So basically everyone will just be listening to these pop songs and thinking this is what music should sound like, because the only thing they'll hear is these pop songs that got approved by these executives that have these formulas. It'll be on the radio, it'll be on Spotify, whatever. They're never going to find obscure songs, old songs, unless they really want to dig down into it. It's really hard, actually. The only place I've seen where it's easy, kind of, to get these old songs is from YouTube. When you're listening to, you have to start listening to the old songs, and occasionally you'll get some obscure songs on like the recommended, and it's only, they're singles anyway, so you really have to do some digging. But, you know, it's kind of weird. I think in, I don't know, 20, 30 years, every song will pretty much sound the same unless something big happens. I don't think it will, because I think it'll just get more, I don't know, corporate, formulaic music. That's what's been happening from, I don't know, 2000 to now. It's really been, you know, the same stuff over and over again. And kind of, you used to have a lot of genres, but now it's just kind of mushed into one weird genre with a couple. You got like some weird rap, hip-hop stuff. You got the normal pop, like blah blah blah, and you'll have like some indie music, which is just like, all of it sounds the same. It's just like clapping and stomping on the floors and going, you know. But yeah, that's just a little, I don't know if it's a rant. Get it out there. Maybe think about it, look up some old songs and talk about them to your friends. Or else I think all these old bands were just going to die when all the listeners are dead. All these boomers listening to it, mowing their lawn, they're going to die, and then it's just over. You know, you'll have a couple people still listening to it, but like, who's going to be listening to it? Everyone's going to be listening to all these pop songs. But yeah, that's just a little insight into a little idea I had. So, I don't know, leave a comment. If you like pop songs and you like all songs sounding the same, maybe that's good. It's easy. But yeah, think about it. Alright, that's one little topic. Maybe there's more, maybe there's less. Platypi? I don't know. Have a nice day. Don't go outside. Unless you really have to.